those moments that are carefully scripted in this wonderful world we call professional wrestling, where, you know, we love this guy, and then he does something so shockingly dastardly that we instantly want to boo him? Yeah, those are great. But what happens when we decide that this ain't flying? Tonight we're going to talk about it. Welcome to Wrestling with Egos. However you may be consuming this wonderful, crazy, insane product, whether it be on any of our podcasting platforms, Anchor, Apple, Google, Spotify, Breaker, Intergalactic Radio, and even for those of you watching us on the YouTubes, thank you guys so much for making this episode of Wrestling with Egos part of your weekly smorgasbord of info. We are less than 24 hours away from SummerSlam live from Music City, Tennessee. Are we going to talk about it? No. And here's why. We're waiting. We have new creative direction in WWE. We're only a week into it. Can't believe we're actually saying this about the largest promotion in the entire world. But call me when you do something.
This week, we are the state of Missouri. You need to show us. Show me what you got going on. If you want to make a splash, make a splash. If you just want to give us 8 or 9 great matches, that would be a great place to start. Matches were like, you know what, that was pretty good. Thank you for delivering some nice content and all that. But, you know, I just don't see the point, especially when we have such a meaty topic that Patrick has kind of already laid out at the beginning of the show that we can sink our jowls into, as it were. You know, I'd rather go that route.
I would too, but I will say this. Paul Levesque, if you're watching, which you're not, but in all of these sweeping changes that you may or may not make to your brand new baby, your new venture in the world of wrestling, can you please bring that back? And I don't mean the tag team titles. I mean when this brand actually meant something. Can you please bring that back and get that Technicolor nightmare out of our lives forever and go back to black and gold? Signed, Patrick. Anyway, let's go ahead and get into it. As I already mentioned, I'm Patrick, joined as I am each and every week by my boys Brian and Isaac. You can catch me on Twitter at Rant Mode On. Brian's at BCreego15. Isaac is at I the Fourth. The entire show is Wrestling X Egos. Gentlemen, tonight we talk organic heel or face turns. Not necessarily those that are scripted, but the ones that we, the audience, force the promotion's hand. We're booing this person, but they're a face. Okay, we got to turn them heel. We're cheering this person, even though you want us to hate this guy's guts. All right, well, guess what? Now he's a babyface. And that's what we're talking about, because especially in the last 10 years, the fans have truly proven that we do have the power, especially when it continues to happen week after damn week after damn week. And we're going to talk about some of those. Not because Vince or anyone else thought it was a great idea, because we thought it was a great idea. Brian.
Correct me if I'm wrong, good sir, but this past Wednesday, AEW Fight for the Fallen, I think we had a very good example of this. And it's a great place to start since it's kind of fresh in everybody's head.
Yes.
We're talking about it.
Yes. Well, we're not going to necessarily talk about Fight for the Fallen, but
but this guy.
Right. Yeah. But in case you missed it, Ricky Starks lost the FTW championship. No, not to Danhausen. He dropped an open challenge after he defeated Danhausen and then got his ass choked out by Hook.
Send him.
Very, very appropriate that the FTW title is now over the shoulder of the son of the creator of said title.
There's video making the rounds of Taz and Hook backstage, and Taz, like, you know, speaking very proudly of his son, and Hook doing his best to not like, he's kind of like looking at the ground and looking off to but you can tell that he's secretly very happy that his dad has given him singing his praises for stepping up the way he did. So that was a really nice moment. The fact that Taz got to call the match,
right?
But let's back the truck up a minute here, because we're talking about Ricky Starks. Patrick, would you like to tell us a little something about Ricky Starks?
Yes. For those of you that have been following the show for multiple years, you might remember a couple of years ago at our Iggy Awards where we presented the Nia Jax Worst Performer of the Year award to Ricky Starks. By the way, Ricky Starks that year was not even nominated. We just gave him the award anyway. Why? Because at that point in time, he was God.
Watchable.
Awful. Just unwatchable isn't even the word. If you could find a way to make a play on words and combine god awful and hot garbage, that would be Ricky Starks 2 years ago. And now Ricky Starks is cutting a babyface promo after he gets choked out by Hook, and then Will Hobbs turns on him, and Hobbs is a heel. Ricky Starks is babyface. But why does this happen, boys and girls? Because for the past 3 damn months, Ricky Starks has been getting cheered. Why has Ricky Starks been getting cheered? Because his mic work has been on another planet in 2022, and his in-ring work has been top notch. I should have done that in the opposite order, and ended with the big one. But he has come light years in the last 2 years, to the point, I have said it on this show, I said it with Chris Mueller from Bleacher Report being on this show, I hate him, he's boring, I think he sucks. I'm saying it right now. Order me up a big old bucket of New Orleans fried crow, because I'm about to eat it. I am in with Ricky Starks. Holy crap, I cannot believe I just said that.
We talk about on this show, this is why we love professional wrestling. This is one of the reasons why we love it. We love it when a talent has the light switch flipped on.
Yes.
And you see them come into their own, and you see them, all of a sudden the in-ring, skill set increases by leaps and bounds, and all of a sudden the mic work, he's got relevant things to say, and he's delivering it with emotion and passion. It's not just a monotone. It's not just stammering. It's not just, saying 3 words and letting everybody else speak for you. It's, I'm going to go out there and I'm going to tell you what's on my mind, and then I'm going to back it up in the ring.
Right.
And that's what we want.
Right. I mean, just and kind of getting a little off topic with this, but just kind of a few people that went along that same blueprint where they were just kind of there, and then all of a sudden the light switch got flipped on and they went on to amazing heights. First one that comes to my mind is Edge. Edge was even while winning Money in the Bank, was just like, don't get me wrong, I've been a Edge fan since day one. I love the guy. I loved it when he won Money in the Bank. I loved it when he cashed in on Cena at New Year's Revolution that year. But he didn't really start taking off until after he had the title. And then hang on to your butts, boys and girls. He went on to a completely different plane of existence during his first title reign, and it just continued from there. I mean, come on, he slapped John Cena's dad the next Tuesday in a promo, in a tape segment. I mean, it was great. And Ricky Starks is doing the same thing right now. It's just all of a sudden, and it's night and day. That's what I got on that one. What say you guys on Ricky Starks and his his heel turn, his face turn that was essentially brought on by us starting to cheer him more and more and more.
Isaac, jump in there.
Okay, let me just say this: Ricky Starks is finally everything's finally coming together. You said it very well. I agree. It just that light clicked in, and everything just went out smoothly for him. I'm really happy that he is getting what he deserves. Um, it's about time that it finally clicked. I'm glad it did click, and I'm looking forward to what he's going to do in the future. I'm looking for him and Hobbs to, tear it down in the next couple months and do some fantastic things. I'm glad he got his chance, and I'm looking forward to what happens next.
One thing I'm really looking forward to, as far as Hobbs and Starks, is I'm really looking forward to seeing what they do with Hobbs, because AEW is, in my opinion, is in need. Granted, they've got big guys that are heels, but they do not have that super ripped, uber athletic monster heel. They had him until they turned Wardlow white meat babyface, like ultra white meat babyface chicken breast with no seasoning on it. You just put the thing in a crock pot with some water and you boiled it. That's what Wardlow is now, white meat. With Hobbs is a massive dude. He is absolutely shredded, and he looks like he could tear your face off. I'm very much looking forward to see what they do with Powerhouse Hobbs. Um, Truth be told, he's going to be fodder for Starks, but this is an opportunity to create a terrifying monster heel in AEW, which is something they have not done ever, despite having multiple people that can fill that role. Miro, Brody King, Lance Archer. Do I need to keep going?
And another part of it too is, and this just came to me as you were finishing up your first take about Starks. I feel like AEW all of a sudden finds themselves in need of actual baby faces,
Yeah,
because the list of the ones that can actually say, yeah, I'm a baby face is kind of short. I don't consider Blackpool Combat Club faces. I
no,
just consider them butt kickers that go out there and get the job done every week. They don't care what you think about them.
they are mass murderers that get cheered.
Right. Punk's hurt. He's going to be back soon, but he's out. Hangman is off doing soul searching again. And it's nice to see that storytelling happening. But I feel like Tony Khan may have said, "Oh, well, that's good that you want us to do this because we kind of needed another baby face." I mean, I'm having trouble thinking of some outside of Jungle Boy and um. Wow, this is bad. I mean, all the people that are coming into my head are heels. Um, huh?
Best friends.
Yeah, I mean, they're few and far between right now. So the fact that Starks has turned is rather handy.
Well, here's my thing as far as baby faces and AEW. And I agree with you completely about Blackpool Combat Club. There's not a single member of them. Granted, they all get cheered, but they would much rather put you in the hospital than just beat you. And that's the case with all of them, including the old British guy that runs the show. They're all they're
Yeah.
all they're all maniacs. Um, so Blackpool Combat Club does not exist. Every other great act in AEW is a heel. And let's be honest, there's not many. I'll take that back. There's one act in AEW that are over baby faces, and that's FTR. By the way, another organic turn right there. Which one we didn't even have on our list. FTR has been booed maybe a month into their AEW run. They started getting booed. And they've been booed ever since. They joined the Pinnacle, a massive failure, and continued to get booed. They were teamed up with Blanchard, continued to get booed. And then all of a sudden, they get cheered because people finally realize, holy crap, these guys might be one of the greatest tag teams ever.
Mm-hmm.
And you now see what they're doing because they're putting out banger match after banger match, whether it be against each other in solo competition, Hardwood taking on CM Punk, or that 2 out of 3 falls. Mwah, mwah, mwah. This past weekend at Death Before Dishonor against the Briscoes. Damn. Yet again, another match that a member of FTR is in that's on my list for match of the year.
We may have to have an FTR category for match of the year at this rate.
Yeah. And, match number 1, Hardwood versus Wheeler. Match number 2, Hardwood versus Punk. Match number 3, FTR versus Bucks. FTR versus Briscoes, 1 and 2.
The one that I keep going back to, a situation like this, and was the first time in my wrestling fandom that I became aware of something happened that probably shouldn't have happened. You go back to WrestleMania 13, and it's called the famous double turn. It's been a homework assignment on this show before. It's Stone Cold Steve Austin versus Bret Hart, where the two guys went in there with established roles, and they came out the other side completely different. This is the famous match where Austin didn't actually tap out. He passed out in a pool of his own blood after Bret put the sharpshooter on him. So when I'm talking about organic turns, this is one of the ones I always think about. And didn't have a chance to this week, but in preparation for the show, I wanted to go back and watch it again. But that's the one that, didn't have a chance to do it, but that's the one that always sticks in my head, because it was clear going in this match what the Office wanted you to do. They wanted you to, Bret Hart, and I'm doing the right thing, and all this stuff, but it was coming off as hollow. And then you got this ass kicker in Stone Cold, who the fans were getting behind by this point. They were, because he resonated with the middle class and the working man and the common man and all that kind of stuff, and just made being anti-establishment look cool.
Right.
And that's, I think, why by this point the train was rolling by the time he got into the feud with Bret. There was some of the promos leading into this. If you take Hitman and put the letter S in front of it, then you've got my exact feeling. And the crowd was just going, So, I mean, that one, I don't know what you guys think about it, but that one is, for me, always going to be the first one I think of when I think about a situation like this.
I think that one's the blueprint, because that one, WWE planned that one, but they didn't just go, okay, Austin's turning face, Bret's turning heel. We're going to make this happen because Bret's going to do something super dastardly and Austin's going to save the day or something like that. No, they didn't do that. They actually baited us into making it happen, which was brilliant on their part. I mean, go back and look at it. They played the audience in Chicago at WrestleMania 13 like a damn fiddle. I mean, I was talking, I did the chef's kiss for Briscoes and FTR Part 2. That's the same thing for WrestleMania 13. That's the blueprint for how to do this, because WWE wanted it to happen, and they made it happen through the audience. probably one of my favorites. And like I keep saying, the Blueprint. I want to sidebar for just a second, because while we do the show, I do, especially when we're recording on Fridays, while Rampage and SmackDown are going on, I like to keep an eye out in case something major happens, especially this week. Apparently, within the last 30 minutes, Michael Cole, live on SmackDown, said the word wrestling. Michael Cole said wrestling.
Well then.
Yeah.
Welcome to the party, Michael.
Not something I thought I would ever read is the fact that Michael Cole, Vince's soldier boy for all these years, said the W word. Yeah. I got another one here. Because I mean, look, we can talk about, and I'm gonna just blow through some of these on my list. We can talk about John Cena constantly getting booed despite the fact that he's a babyface, but that's not,
I don't really consider that, because he's never actually, we theorize about what would a heel turn look like, but he's always resisted it.
And here's why I'm glad they never did it. Cena sucks. Cena sucks. Cena sucks. Cena decided to haul off and like kick AJ Styles right in the ding ding. As soon as he does it, the fans are gonna pop because they got exactly what they wanted, and now they're gonna cheer a heel John Cena, and we're literally right back to where we're back where we just were, except we're going in a different direction.
Which is why anytime I've ever seen anybody on YouTube theorize how would you do it, they take something else away that they know the fans love in conjunction with it, so that it's not okay. Yeah, you gave us but because the one big example, Adam Blampier, linked it to ending the Undertaker's undefeated streak. Like Cena would be the one to do it by cheating to beat Undertaker at WrestleMania. Yeah, he turned heel. What? He beat the Undertaker? No, that kind of thing. So you link it to something. You can't have your cake and eat it too, kind of thing.
Even though he didn't cheat, much like Roman after WrestleMania 32.
Yeah.
Roman beat Taker clean, and then he got booed the night after WrestleMania for 10 straight minutes.
Right.
And to get out the phrase, "This is my yard now." Speaking of them, and Isaac, I want to hear your point of view on this one. The Shield. They start off, we're booing the heck out of them, but we realize that pack of dogs mentality is actually kind of cool. Their entrance is kind of cool. They're kind of cool. And we start cheering them. And then we get into WrestleMania 30 where they beat Kane and the Outlaws in less than 2.5 minutes.
I could see that coming. It was very organic to me that it was gonna come, because you just kept seeing here. It kind of threw me for a bit in the aspect of you could sit there and see they were prepping Roman to be the next big thing.
No, they were not. They were not, and I'm glad you did that. I'm glad you did that. They were not prepping Roman. They were prepping Rollins. Rollins was the company's choice because Rollins, of the three, is the best in-ring performer far and away. He was 8 years ago, and he still is. We wanted Roman. We wanted him, and we got him. And once they started pushing him right down our throats, we gagged on it. We decided, no, we don't want this. Roman sucks.
He also wasn't ready to at the same
No,
time.
he wasn't. What they should have done was they should have gone with their initial plan. And because the plan wasn't, I've heard this on podcasts and I've even heard this on an interview with Rollins before. The plan was literally what they did, except you switch Roman and Rollins. Roman was supposed to be the one with the chair turning on the shield. Roman was going to be the one to get the title, and then Rollins was going to take it from him. Rollins was supposed to be the baby face out of this.
It's interesting to think about what could have been if they had just gone with that, because
I'm glad they didn't. I'm glad they didn't. You know
We're all
why?
glad he didn't because he wasn't ready.
No, I'm looking too far ahead. I'm looking way far in the future from what they did. I'm looking at WrestleMania 31. I'm standing there at WrestleMania 31, heist of the century. Brock and Roman for the first of 1.5 million times that we've seen. And, Brock's getting booed, Roman's getting booed. Here comes Rollins. Everything happens the way it does. If they do not switch, if they go with their gut and don't switch it like they did and have Rollins be the one that joins Triple H and the Authority, we are not looking right now at one of the greatest title runs of the last 25 years. And you cannot tell me that Roman Reigns' run right now isn't just glorious, because it has been.
yeah, it makes you wonder, because maybe he's not that frontline guy anymore. At that point, maybe he's down to the middle of the card, and him taking time away, for his health isn't as big of a deal as it was.
Right.
That part is still what informs a lot of this run for me. Is I'm making up for borrowed time. Who knows how much time I have left? That kind of thing.
But at the same time,
Or making up for lost time. Borrowed time is not the right phrase. Sorry.
you got to think with Roman heel turn and joining up with Heyman and creating the bloodline and having the title for damn near 3 years. You have to think about the fact that was all brought on because the fans got pissed at Roman because he pulled out of Mania during COVID.
Yeah.
And came back at SummerSlam and laid waste to Strowman and was it Strowman and Fiend?
Yeah.
Yes, it was.
Okay. And then but they do that. Fast forward to literally this past Monday night. Roman Reigns, the Usos, Paul Heyman, the minute his music hits in Madison Square freaking Garden, that place went up. The only way that pop could have gotten louder is if there was glass shattering to begin with. They take their 9.5 minute long entrance. They get in the ring, and literally the only thing that Roman says before handing the mic back to Paul Heyman was, Madison Square Garden, acknowledge me. And they went up.
Mm-hmm.
We literally, for lack of a term, the fans wanted Roman. We ran his ass out of town. He came back, and now we're supposed to boo him. But now Roman, as this heel, as the tribal chief, the head of the table, this guy is one of the best characters in professional wrestling today. Has been for 2 years, 3 years. It's been damn near flawless. And now he's getting cheered again. That to me is one of the most remarkable things of them all, because we wanted the guy, now we don't want him. Okay, you're booing him, so now we're going to give you something. Now I'm going to give you something to cry about. They're going to give us something to boo about, but oh, wait, no. This guy's cool. We're going to cheer him. Damn it. I know right now, Hunter and Bruce Pritchard have just got to be going, son of a bitch, really? Really, you guys?
Yeah.
We try to give you what you want at a Roman, and you keep flipping the script on us. It's like that one damn year at it's like WrestleMania Miami, where we've got Jericho coming out, but all you guys want to do is sing Fandango song. I mean, good God.
There's another one for me. You knew I was going to go here. Because as it was happening, I did not understand it, because this was around the time I had gotten out of wrestling for a long time, and I was out on my own by this point. I had cable television again that I was paying for, and I was seeing all of these things happen.
And he was also allowed to stay up past 8 o'clock.
Right. Some of the things that Hulk Hogan was doing to The Rock when he was a member of the NWO going into WrestleMania 18. And this was this was my Brian, you know it's scripted, right, moment, because I can remember the Raw. I don't remember what city it was in, but it was the Raw where they put The Rock in an ambulance and Hogan ran the ambulance down with a semi-truck. I came into work the next morning and I was pissed. And one of my colleagues at the school I was teaching at the time, you know, I don't remember what I was doing, but she came over and asked me a question. I don't know if I was like slamming papers on my desk or something like that. And she goes, "Why are you so upset? The day hasn't even started yet. You know, there's no kids yet, you know." And so I explained it to her, and she knew that I was a wrestling fan, but she didn't watch. And as I'm setting up the story, about 5 minutes in, she stops me and she goes, "Okay, wait a minute. You know he wasn't in the ambulance, right? You know that he couldn't possibly have been in the ambulance when Hulk Hogan ran into it with the semi-truck, right?" And I'm like sitting at my desk and I'm heavy breathing, and I look up at her and I'm like, "No, you're probably right. He probably was not in that ambulance. They probably just bought an ambulance, a junk ambulance, and it's in the prop budget, so we'll destroy it." That makes a lot more sense. She goes, "It's wrestling. It can't possibly, he couldn't really, could you imagine if he was in the ambulance?" So to go from that, my point is to go from that to now we're in Toronto, Bizarro World.
Oh, God, yeah.
And Hogan comes out, Rock comes out, and Rock's the one you hear the smattering of boos for. And Hogan is getting all the adulation that you could ever hope and pray for. And that was organic as hell, too, because that crowd reaction, I think they were in Montreal later that week, and he came out in the red and yellow in Montreal, and they went absolutely berserk, too. So that forced the breakup of the NWO, or like the splintering of the NWO. And then Hogan goes and gets a title run out of it, you know, winning the title off of Triple H later on that year. That was the visceral one for me because, of course, as everybody on this show knows, The Rock is my guy. And how dare you?
What? Really?
How dare you? How dare you beat The Rock and get a better crowd reaction than The Rock? That's not supposed to happen, but it happened.
Can I jump in when you're done?
Yeah, go. I was just setting the scene, so go ahead. Be my guest.
You got to remember, at that time, most of the people, especially the crowd at WrestleMania, grew up as Hulk Hogan fans. And when Hulkamania was at its peak and running wild, and now they're now in their 30s, 35, 40, whatever it was at the time, and they're all there. This was not a rock crowd to begin with. It was never going to be a rock crowd. That was Hogan. This is what they wanted to see. They wanted to see him Hulk up. Oh my God, they wanted to see they're having nostalgia back at when he faced Andre the Giant. This is their moment. Oh my God, he's still here. He still looks fantastic. Oh my God, it's Hulk Hogan. This is the point in time. Rock didn't stand a chance.
No.
He Rock could have set somebody on fire. That match. There was no way on God's green earth
He did that in WrestleMania 32 in Dallas. That's fine.
No, there's no way. There's no way. The crowd was primed for Hogan. This is what they wanted. They wanted to see him. Did they want to see the NWO Black and Hulk? Black and white Hulk? No. Of course, they want to see the red and yellow. They always wanted to see the red and yellow. This was WrestleMania. Oh my God, he's the one that started it.
Hypothetical question.
Go ahead.
Put that WrestleMania in Houston, Texas.
Doesn't matter where it was.
No, yeah, it does. Yeah, it does.
No,
It had-
no.
Yes.
No.
Yes.
No.
Had to be a wrestling town, not Houston, not LA, not Miami, Tampa, Nashville. No, it had to be New York, Chicago, Toronto, Detroit,
Philadelphia.
Philly, St. Louis, Atlanta. No.
That was
maybe Atlanta. Maybe
that question just popped into my head about, was it just because they sat down in by the Space Needle, or was it,
No, you're wrong on this. And the reason I'm saying that you're wrong is because this is a WrestleMania crowd. This is not a Chicago crowd, which we know they're huge fans. This is not a Philly crowd. This is a WrestleMania and the Monday night after WrestleMania crowd. This is a totally different crowd. When you think about this, when you think about WrestleMania and the night after, Monday night, those are the two craziest crowds that can make or break anybody. You have to admit that. And that's happened in the past. Now, you're talking about guys that are in their 30s, 35, whatever.
you said that part already.
But that's
Let me ask you one question. Do you really think that the international audience is going to drive all 80,000 tickets of a football stadium? No, not even close. A vast majority of that, whether you want to acknowledge it or not, acknowledge me, I had to throw that one in there, local, is regional. You get a Detroit crowd, a strong majority, not vast, but a strong core of those fans are going to be Detroit, Minneapolis, Cleveland, Chicago, Pittsburgh, the Great Lakes area, because it's Detroit. It's within somewhat driving distance. It's cheaper for us to drive and get a hotel than it would be from someone out in Phoenix to fly, get a hotel. It's a hell of a lot cheaper. Makes more budgetary sense for someone like us because it's within a day's drive. So I will then, now, and forever completely disagree with you on that one because of where it was.
Your point, Isaac, though, is noted because you're right, it was a generation that grew up as kids, and now they got the discretionary income that they're like, you know what, Hogan's going to be there, I'm going to go. I don't know how well it translates outside of those cities that Patrick rattled off, but it makes me wonder, like, if it had been in Seattle, or if it had been in Boston, or if it had been, would the reaction have been quite so visceral? There's really no way to figure that out, but that's the one that, along with Austin Brett, that's the one that kind of sticks out in my mind as well. As we didn't plan for this, the fans made it happen.
So let me throw another one out there. We're talking about, you're supposed to be a heel, but we're gonna cheer you. Let's flip one. And I think this is one of the biggest uh-ohs that WWE has ever had. What year does anyone off the top of their head? Anybody know what year WrestleMania 30 was?
2014.
14. Okay.
Because the first WrestleMania was 84. So.
Okay. There you go. So you mean to tell me January of 2014, when Batista comes out at number 30?
What could possibly go wrong?
Exactly. Oh, and by the way, everybody was already doing this. And then number 29 hits. Who was 29? Does anybody remember? Because he's the one that got the ever-living hell boot out of him, because we all knew Batista was 30. Anybody know who 29 was?
I don't remember.
Ray.
No, Ray came out at 30 the following year. I'm going to look that up really quick.
All right. I could have sworn that Ray was 29 that year. Because 31, Daniel Bryan was ended up being in the ladder match for the IC title. Because he had just come back. Because Punk had just walked and Daniel Bryan was doing his program with Bray in 2014. If I'm not mistaken.
All right, so that year. Wait a minute. Yeah, Batista came in at 28.
Oh.
Big E came in at 29, and Ray came in. That's right. Ray came in at 30. So Batista was already out there. Okay.
For some reason, I thought Batista was 30, but I remember Rey Mysterio got the ever-loving crap boot out of him.
Yes.
Because we wanted Daniel Bryan. We wanted Bryan Danielson, and we didn't get him. He wasn't even in the Rumble. But so because of this, it ends, and now we get Batista and Orton, which is a match that everybody wanted to see. Everybody starts booing the crap out of the entire thing, which forces. It was a face run that failed so miserably. It forced the company to change their entire plans for a WrestleMania main event.
And correct me if I'm wrong. I would have to go back and specifically look at Batista during this point. Batista did not look like he was mentally all there, like he was fully invested.
No, he wasn't.
Like he was just there for a payday.
He was.
Even though in interviews he said, obviously, I mean, you got to give it to Daniel Bryan because that kind of stuff. It's easy to say that in hindsight, But at the time, I remember thinking, really, your blue trunks and your skinny jeans and your Sergio Valente tracksuit, and I know it wasn't Sergio Valente, but I mean, like, that's not how you used to dress. Like,
no.
Come out in the way you used to dress, with the Timberland boots and the jeans and the Washington Bullets jersey. I mean,
yeah,
none of this GQ crap.
Right. See, and I agree that Batista was there. He was there for a pay. He was there for a WrestleMania payday. He was there for a WrestleMania main event. He was there for a title run. You could tell that all three of those things were already arranged. And then they had to flip everything around. And then coincidentally, Batista had to leave earlier than planned to go do promotional work for Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 1 or 2, or whichever one it was. Exactly. The night after whatever
Extreme Rules, where the Shield like pitched a shutout or something like that.
Yes, in the second straight pay-per-view where we had 3-on-3, which those matches were just amazing. Still, the Shield, my God. But Batista, and what a disaster that turned out to be. I got one more for you guys, and we're gonna for as far as me, we're gonna end it on a positive note. And I almost kind of played my hand there, but I'll go ahead and do it. Because if I'm wrong, during Los Guerreros tag title run, they were getting booed. And then little by little, those boos got quieter and those cheers started happening.
You brought this one up in the pre-show meeting, and I had a hard time with the timeline of it because for me, and this is, I'm ashamed to admit this, but for me, Eddie's career, his WWE career, is kind of a blur. Like I don't remember the timeline of his stuff in WWE as well as I do other people's, and that I need to correct that. I know he came in 2000 with the Radicals, and then all of a sudden it seemed like now he's with Chavo and they're doing the lie, cheat, and steal thing. Like I blinked for 1 second, and then all of a sudden I blinked again, and he's beating Lesnar at No Way Out.
Los Guerreros started shortly after WrestleMania 19, and they had a short run as tag champs as heels, and then became faces, lost the titles, and then Eddie went on his title run. Eddie went on to win the title at No Way Out the month before Mania, and then beat Angle at Mania 20 in New York.
Can I jump in real quick? The reason that you have a blurred vision of Eddie was at the same time. Remember, when Eddie came in with the Radicals, he got injured, and that was a huge point. He was there he was at the shows, and he was at ringside, and you saw that he was there, but he wasn't wrestling. And we forget about that part, and then he finally got cleared to come back in. Remember, he had that run with China.
Yeah. Wasn't he supposed to be the breakout of the four? Wasn't the original plan for Eddie to kind of be like the focal point?
Was he who shall not be named.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
It was the guy whose name we will never mention on this show again. We have in recent past, and I'm as executive producer of the show, I'm taking a hardline stance, and no one that did what he did will ever have their name uttered on any intellectual property that I have my hands in. But yeah, no, the breakout was supposed to be He Who Shall Not Be Named.
Okay, I don't know if I read it somewhere that or maybe there were some that wanted Eddie to be like the featured centerpiece, but the arm injury or whatever put a damper on it.
Yes. And then people thought that Eddie was just boring. And the Latino Heat character, it was okay. And then the lie, cheat, steal thing happened, and then kaboom. We're off the races.
And then he was facing Rey Mysterio the next year in WrestleMania after that.
Right. Well,
when they were both.
Think all the matches beforehand that they had. I mean, my God in heaven, they had that ladder match for the custody of Dominic. Which, yeah, everybody kind of rolls their eyes at that stipulation, but that match was great.
Yeah.
I mean, it was Ray and Eddie. I mean, you can have a Judy Bagwell on a forklift match between Ray and Eddie, and it would be a 4.5-star classic. I mean, my God.
Book it, Hunter.
Yeah, no. Well, I actually can't.
I know we can't.
Rest in peace, Judy Bagwell. But I always thought the Eddie one was just
the best example of lightning in a bottle.
Yeah.
You know, because we all know about Eddie's demons and what he had to overcome to, you know, because I think that's maybe another reason why there was a blur there too, was because he had to be away to take care of his personal issues and everything like that. And the fact that he was able to come back and be in that position where he was going to be a top guy and be beloved and be cheered, you know, really, how can you not get behind that? And now you see all the people that are imitating him. I mean, you had Finn the other night trying to pull a page out of the page one of the Eddie Guerrero playbook. It backfired on him. But I'm like, okay, that's great, you know.
Right. Go ahead. And I got one more because I just literally had one pop into my head.
Go ahead. Get in there. I was just going to trail off on that because everybody's listing him as an influence.
Well,
you know, the list goes on and on.
This is one that if it doesn't happen, you might have make a very strong argument of the fact that wrestling isn't where it is now, because this happened about 15-ish years ago, maybe even longer than that, because we were booing this guy because he sucked and he was boring, and then he got cool and we started cheering him, and then John Cena goes on this run for eons and wins 16 world championships. Think about it. When John Cena first starts the rap gimmick and he's got Bull Buchanan as his heavy, we're booing the crap out of him. And then it catches fire.
That'd be something to go back and watch at some point, to just watch all those. No, but like from the beginning and see like where exactly did it start catching fire? Because I don't remember. Now, the promo you gave me for the promo battle like 2 years ago, he was already, you know, getting cheered by that point.
Oh, no, he was over, because the one that I gave you was the night after WrestleMania 21 when he beat Jay title. So no, he's already over like Rover. His flip started somewhere around mid, would have been, I guess, 03, because if 2014 was WrestleMania 30, then 2003 would have been WrestleMania 20.
Because he had that brief feud with The Undertaker where some of the raps he cut on The Undertaker were like uncomfortable as hell.
And then he had the program with Brock.
That's what flipped.
You're bringing the F5, I'm bringing the FU. And that's where it started. And then by SummerSlam Survivor Series of that year, that turn happened. So you get to the Rumble into WrestleMania 20, and he's eliminated by the Big Show, who was U.S. champ at the time. Everybody thought he jacked his knee up. And then he beats Big Show for the title at WrestleMania 20, and there we go. We're off to the races.
Right.
He had that year-long build to get him and Batista to hit the floor at the exact same time the year after at the Royal Rumble. Then Vince blew out both quads. And then, hey, here we go. We get 20 years of this. And then we hate the guy. We cheer him. We get exactly what we want. And then all of a sudden, we get tired of getting what we wanted. And then we want something else. Man, if anything, I have learned something tonight. Wrestling fans as a whole suck.
Well, I mean, all the stuff with Cena, I didn't see any of it. So
the way up was real fun.
Yes, it was.
The first 2-3 years.
That went right over your heads, guys.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, it totally did. No. But like the first 2-3 years of his title run were amazing.
You should really try to crack some jokes on the show sometime, Brian, because you're so straight laced and you're so, like you're just so professorial and stuff with that. And then I crack a joke and you're just going on and advancing your points, trying to
being straight laced that, it's really hard to tell when you are being sarcastic. It's very hard. If I could be serious for a moment.
I thought that was a good delivery. I said, all that stuff was Cena. I never saw it.
Dude, it was, but I am so used to you always being serious that when you lost sarcasm, it flies past me. Because I'm like, wait.
Whose fault is that?
That just happened?
It just means you're not paying attention.
Yeah. Who am I pointing at? Am I pointing at you? No. Am I pointing at Isaac? No, I'm pointing at me. It is totally my fault.
Isaac should be pointing at himself too. He didn't react either.
There we go.
This is all me. I'm not pointing at nobody but.
Not only does this title mean I'm one half of the tag team champions, but it also means I am two halves of the most oblivious man on the show.
Yeah.
Fair point.
Yep. Good show, guys. Good show.
Very good show. Good topic.
Very, very much so. So here we go. We'll all take a page out of my book for this one to end the show. SummerSlam predictions guaranteed to go wrong.
Bailey cashes in Money in the Bank on Roman. Done.
Try to be realistic, man.
If we're going there, we might as well just go Sasha Banks and Naomi come back and win the tag titles.
I'll do you one better. Sasha Banks and Naomi show up as the tag champs. All I'm saying is apparently continuing to look on Twitter about the whole Michael Cole thing. Apparently, not only did he say wrestling, but he also said WWE fans. Not WWE Universe.
Okay. So who's the JAS parodying now? If we're not saying that anymore.
My God in heaven.
Oh, man.
Yeah. Look, the Jericho Appreciation Society, I get it. That's their shtick. But, dude.
In all seriousness, though, we had another match of the year candidate on Wednesday. Daniel Garcia and Bryan Danielson.
God, yeah.
My goodness.
Oh.
And I did not see that ending coming either.
No, did not. But speaking of also other match of the year contenders, we had another one this past weekend with Jonathan Gresham and the new Ring of Honor World Champion Claudio Castagnoli. Great match. Fine. I did not realize that Claudio had never won a world title before. Won the ROH world title before. So I'm shocked that that's the first world championship that man's ever won. Took you long. Well deserved. So I have no idea what we're talking about next week. And here's why. Because SummerSlam is tomorrow. And there is more than enough belief to think that if Triple H is going to just rip the script apart and start writing anew, then it starts on Monday. So in my opinion, I am not going to hype the show up. I am not going to say this could be the most important show. I'm not going to do the Tony Schiavone thing and go, this could be the most important night in the history of our sport. I'm saying that this could be one of the more interesting weeks we've seen in pro wrestling in decades. Because we know what we know going in, as far as after SummerSlam, what we know can be summed up in 3 words. We don't know. No clue. We could show up Monday. Triple H could start the show much like he did Takeover #1 with the lights out, and he's just talking right into the camera, and then does this, and the lights come on, and here we go.
What did Aaron Rodgers say last year? It's a beautiful mystery.
Exactly. And I like it for one simple reason. We don't know. All bets, as far as I'm concerned, as soon as SummerSlam goes off the air tomorrow night, all bets are off. Hell, all bets are off tomorrow night because Matt Riddle is out for SummerSlam. Rollins does not have a match. And Rollins has griped about it on Twitter and said, don't worry, guys. At some point, they'll hear all of you complaining. And Triple H responded, I hear you.
Mm-hmm.
There are rumors.
Big man, didn't you book tickets to Nashville? Is there something you're not telling us?
I'm trying to keep that on the low right now.
Okay. I mean, all I'm saying, you show up tomorrow night, and
you guys already know what I'm about to do. So I mean, you already know what it is. I mean, I'm trying to.
You got the Wrestling with Egos T-shirt packed, right?
Oh, I'm already ready to go. I got the suitcase right here to the side.
All right. Well, that being said, I didn't realize what time it was, man. Isaac, you got a flight in an hour, bro.
I don't have a flight anywhere.
Guys, he's flying to Oklahoma. He's got a funeral over in Oklahoma.
He's flying to Rancho Cucamonga.
Now his Ecuadorian golf caddy Pantalones J Hernandez passed away. We call him Pants.
I mean, are we gonna wrap this up? Cause I'm not going anywhere, people. I got a quick flight.
But it's been a long day. So what you're saying.
Long day.
I'll tell you what. I do need to go because I've been on vacation this entire week, and I took the kiddo to the zoo today, and the kiddo ran my ass to death. So, being the fact that it's now almost 11 o'clock, I'm ready to go to bed. So, I will catch all you cats, especially these two cats on the screen with me next week. For Brian, for Isaac, I'm Patrick. Thanks for watching Wrestling with Egos. Don't forget to like, subscribe, share, click the bell for notifications, 5-star review, all that good stuff. Until next week when we talk SummerSlam and anything else that pops up, this has been Wrestling with Egos and the whole beautiful mystery. It's why we love wrestling.